my old man that raised me, he worked at Kellogg's for 45, 50 years. Mm-hmm. And then my uncle, he worked down south. He worked like same. I mean, everybody that I knew worked in these factories, and that's what I saw. You know? Mm-hmm. And then my Uncle Richard, he drove the bus for like 40 years too. I mean, the people that I grew up around, they work, and that's, that was, what I knew. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of.
And to your point, I had uncles that, Uncle David worked at Ford his whole life.
His whole life.
But then I had uncles that were also in education. But then I had cousins that were working in the factory. So, this is not like we ever looked at there was something wrong with it, because I had so much family that was in it also. But you know what? There's something about that hard work. There's something about that mentality of going in and busting out work that you can actually touch and see and feel and be proud of. And I'm still in manufacturing. I'm just on a different end of it right now.
Same, yeah, because it was called Kent Manufacturing, and they sold it to a company called SureSeal.
Okay.
So I'm still there. I'm still there every day.
Holding it down.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to flash back to something you said earlier when we was talking about like what you want to do and stuff, and it's so funny because you was like, your grandparents was like, you need to go do this and go do that. I'll never forget because you brought up CAD. They tried to put me in CAD classes in summer camp. Dog, I ain't never been more mad as a kid in my life because I can't draw. I can't draw. I have no interest in drawing.
Also, it skipped from him
to my daughter.
To your daughter.
And then my grandmother also could draw, so that's what, like, it came from. But this is why I tell my daughter to never stop drawing. Like, I was so happy. I was looking at my daughter's Christmas list the other day. I'm like, she ain't got nothing about drawing on here or whatever. And like the next day, she was like, Dad, I meant to add these coloring books too. I said, thank God. Like, I'm like, I don't ever want her to start drawing because I just think she's really good at it. Awesome. But yeah, I was like, y'all put me in CAD at KCTC for the summer? Oh, bruh, I was in that class mad as hell every day. And it was only like 2 weeks, but still, I was hot, bro. I remember my brother was picking me up. I used to be mad as hell. He just be looking at me laughing because I was like, bro, this is the worst. I cannot draw. I can't stand drawing. I love to look at it when somebody else do it, but me, no.
Which is so funny because I would have killed to be in that position.
Wow.
My parents were like, they didn't see that in the cards for me, so. You asked earlier about regrets. My regret was not necessarily disrespecting my mom and dad, but doing what I wanted to do.
A little pushback.
Yeah.
I feel that. I gotta have my little pushback with my parents a little bit. They never hindered me from doing anything, but my pops, hear him come over here. It's sports day, the sports coming on. We definitely was definitely into sports. We played everything, anything that was basketball, football, anything. We played sports year round. But as I watched him get more into photography, that's kind of where my love for like my artsy side came from. Never forget, he took his camera to Sherwood one day when we was playing basketball in there, and he had just throwing the ball around. He was Photoshop us holding the basketballs, and he had basketballs all around. I was like, man, this is kind of cool, man. So, I mean, that was also another big reason why I was like, oh man, this is cool too, and that's kind of where my sports kind of flames kind of started dying.
I like photography because I can't draw. That's why I like photography. I wish I could draw.
Right.
Because I love to see artwork.
Yes.
And stuff like that. But I can't draw, so I use that format to kind of put my vision.
Yeah. And like I didn't know until later on in life that he was in, like, I don't recollect as a kid really remembering him being in art that much. So like when I had my dreams of like wanting to really do music and all that stuff, like I really kind of kept it in for a very long time because I'm like he said, how the family was, you gotta go to school, get the job, and I used to be like, man, they gonna look at me like I'm freaking crazy if I be like, so I did not really push back at all. I kind of waited till I got on my own to really start pursuing things because I'm like, but even then it was a struggle mentally because of what had been told to me my whole life. I'm like, I used to be more concerned with how they feel about what I want to do than what I felt like about what I want to do. I used to always feel like I couldn't go against what the family wanted. You know what I'm saying? I did deal with those struggles. So yeah, no, but yeah, I didn't, like I said, till I got later on in life, I'm like, oh, he really was like drawing like that and stuff. Like, so that was crazy. I wish I would have known that. Maybe that would have made me push harder, but it's why I push harder today, is because like he said, you know, he wishes he would have did that. And I always say, like, I just want to do it, you know, so he know. Well, definitely for my daughter to know, you know, whatever's in your heart you can do, but like him and the things that he didn't necessarily follow through all the way on, like I want to like live that, you know, with him, achieving some things. Off. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Torch. 100%. To say, did you have a question?
No. Okay, I was just saying passing the torch, yeah, like, you know.
100%. But the segue from that is, you know, you guys have kids and they're out doing the things and they're living the lives that they want to live. How are you guys processing that, you know, now that you're in the older stages of life and you see your kids are becoming who they really want to be? What are your thoughts and what are you viewing, and how do you view trying to help guide them, even though, like, especially like me and him, we don't necessarily take the traditional routes, you know, although we do work jobs, but we have dreams of like doing media, music, you know, what we're doing now. What is your viewpoints on that? Either one of you can go first, it don't matter.
Well, as long as they're working, I'm happy. You know, I think right now it's the grandkids. I'm in grandparent mode now. So, you know, 2 5-year-olds and he'd be 2 in March. So I mean, everybody's doing their own thing. They're working. I mean, we empty nesters. So as long as everybody got their own place, do what you want.
I would say to make his question a little bit more specific, your brothers and sisters is not in a creative field, right?
No,
so
like I said, you know,
mine not either. I would say, you know, how do y'all feel about our untraditional routes that, you know, we kind of pivoted in and, you know, definitely found some success, you know, with Brendan, you know, Chasing Summer, you know, being our prize winner, and, you know, with me doing, you know, everything I'm doing under the sun. You know,
over in London with the artwork.
Right behind us right here, you know.
I mean, I'm untraditional. You know, like I said, my only regret is that I wish I would have hit the books. So, I mean, I can't put something on you guys that I didn't do. You know, I can say, hey, man, if you want to have, you know, a better lifestyle and have better vacations, go to school. You know.
Absolutely.
Once you get that receipt from that, you know, college, man, that degree, you can do what you want, call your shots. You know, you have to work 30 years to get, you know, the piece that I have. I still don't have everything, but I still have a lot more than the person that started yesterday.
Definitely. But good way to look at it, too.
But still, same guy that come out of school at 23 years old with a 4-year receipt can be exactly where I am today. You know, 30 years it took me to get to where I am now. That same kid can come in and be working right side by side and, you know, be the guy that I have to go to. So, I mean, I go to school. I mean,
I second that. That's one of my big regrets too. Was I stopped school a little early.
Man, go to school, man. It will change your life.
I put a lot of thought into this just over the years. Spend a lot of time raising your kids, hoping, praying that they're going to turn out okay. Because you have no idea whether or not you're doing the right thing, the wrong thing. You don't know if there's going to be some influence that changes the direction that they go in. End up on drugs, life of crime. You don't know, man. You try to do the best you can. Each one of my kids had a different personality. So to your point earlier, you do have to kind of raise them a little bit differently from each other because each one of them has a different need.
That's right.
But the funny thing is they all turned out almost opposite of what I thought. My oldest one got his doctorate.
Nice.
And that was like the proudest day of my life, because this is like, I look back and I'm just kind of like, I guess I didn't do too bad after all. My daughter, she's doing well in her field.
And finishing, she in school right now too.
Yeah, finishing her schooling, doing her thing. Nice. She's pushing for my dad's rec center, working hard on that. Bless her heart. And then Brendan, I think out of all the kids, Brendan probably took a little bit more after me than anybody, as far as the dreamy side of life. Thinking that I don't want to work for somebody. I want to do my own thing. I want to be successful doing me. And then working on getting rid of those shackles that have probably kept me and you in that system all this time, because, old school, being raised old school, is kind of like work. Raise your kids, pay the bills. You have that comfort of knowing that you're getting a paycheck every week or every other week, whatever it turns out to be. To take the leap that you guys are taking, I commend it wholeheartedly, because I wish I was in his shoes. But when I was younger, and when my mom and dad were saying, do this, do this, do this, I'm kind of like, dang. Well, at least I have one son that's doing something a little bit different, and I wish the best for him. I want nothing but the best for him.
Amazing, man. Stumped me.
Well said.
Definitely well said. Man, kind of lost my track on where I was about to pivot from there. But anything you want to say?
Yeah, just like I said, I mean, it's really crazy, to sit back and think just about how generations change. Because, like I said, that pressure that he's talking about, that was there. And I don't know if I shared it on the podcast, but I think me and you talked about personally just about where I was at in 2018, where I was like, I was at my lowest. And in that moment of my lowest, I just said, I've been trying to do everything right by making my family happy by, I'm going to get this job, or I'm going to go to school, I'm going to do this. And my life is still fucked up. Respectfully, excuse my language, but that's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so I was at a point where I was like, you know what? If this is it, and then if I'm going to die, I'm going to go out die trying with what's in my heart. Because I don't know no other way. Because I'm like, I am so unhappy and miserable being worried about the thoughts and opinions of other people that I know love me to death and want the best for me. But I got to live this life. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, Lord willing, and everything works out in natural progression of life, I'm going to still be here when they are not. And I still have to look in the mirror every day and be happy with who and what I've become. And so that is what really kind of broke me free from all that. And like I said, I still work a job. I run shipping and receiving for a company. And I went from being a tech to being a supervisor to running the whole department. And so I ain't playing about no work. But I don't want to have to come in and ask you to take a vacation day. I don't want to come in and have to tell another man, my daughter got this thing going on at school. Can I take these 4 hours and I'll be right back? Like, I don't want to do that. So that's just always been the thing for me. I respect it because that's what I come from. That's where I come from. That's where we come from. We respect the work that y'all put in 1,000% because that work ethic, while it may not be in the factory, it still translates. Like, I'll never forget my mom waking up every day to go to Grimes Public Schools at 5 o'clock in the morning after being up till 10, 11 o'clock the night before because she had board meetings and was going to school. Like, I'll never forget him being up every weekend, working weekends. Like, I'll never forget that hustle, that grind. I'll never forget the sacrifice whatsoever. And it's appreciated to, now that I'm older and I have a kid, to be able to look back on that. I'm like, yeah, like, I'm going to go get this bread, I'm going to show up. And when I'm at this job, I'm going to put my best foot forward because I know where I come from and I know the legacy that's behind me. So I got to. But yeah, man, the world is changing. And, You know, we just, regardless of what you do, you got to put that work in for you or your family.
Definitely.
So I have nothing but respect and commending for working the jobs for 30, 40 years. I love it. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you was dedicated. And that can never be questioned. And that can never be looked down on or frowned upon. It's just all about what's in your heart. You know what I'm saying? But just know, whatever you do, it's going to take that work.
For sure.
Take that grind. It's going to take that sacrifice. So.
Definitely. I remember what I was going to say. Now it came back to me when B was just talking. I had this conversation with my mom some years back. Me kind of seeing my 20s with, you know, rose-colored glasses and, you know, everything fine and dandy, and you know, that's byproduct of, you know, my parents, you know, doing a good job at raising me to, you know, see the world as an opportunity. I asked my mom, I said, you know, I was doing a lot of traveling in my early 20s, a lot of road trips, a lot of stuff like that. And I was like, Mom, you know, how come, you know, did you travel like this, start doing all this kind of stuff? And, you know, to my ignorance, you know, and I don't mean that in any kind of, you know, disrespect to myself, you know, didn't have the most knowledge on, you know, their background or what they came up in their environments and, you know, children and what they viewed as success or fun. And, you know, she was pretty much saying, like, I didn't have the opportunities or the environment to, you know, flourish in this free world, you know, as you did. And, you know, and it kind of sparked a fire in me to, you know, live my life as you know, I speak a lot to, you know, a lot of people out there. I speak a lot about passing the torch. And I genuinely believe that once one generation stop, I believe it's the next generation job, literally job to keep it going, you know, as far as family name. You know how much I, you know, care about my family last name. And I do care a lot, you know. I just want to say, you know, thank you to, you know, my mother and my pops and, you know, everybody else that was adult figures in my life to kind of keep it going, because I am in a stage right now where you said, you know, having a check every 2 weeks is amazing. And, you know, me not having that job security no more, because I do this full time now, is very scary. You know what I'm saying? I do have a wife now of coming up on 6 months, and, you know, those questions, you know, always arise in my head that, oh man, how this gonna happen? How this gonna work? You know, where this next dime coming from? And I will say a big part of my you know, my dreaming and wanting to be successful do come from you know, everything that, you know, y'all couldn't do at this age. So I do try to put my best foot forward to you know, continue to Coleman name, you know, and to motivate. It's why we do stuff like this, to motivate those at home who don't have, you know, father figures who are, you know, behind them, supporting their friends or anything, because, you know, all we want to be is great, man. Yeah. I think we're here to, you know, create a better day every day.
Right.
So,
I will say too that I watched that YOOOO podcast finally.
Amazing.
And when he said, "I'm working every day to make sure the family members I've never even met are taken care of," that hit me deep.
And won't meet, you know, for generations to come.
Generations to come. He was like, you got to look at that every day that you go out. You're doing the work to make sure that family members that you never even going to meet with your last name don't have to, like, go as hard as you or whatever, and they have opportunities you didn't have. And that hit me crazy. I was like, yeah, so that was fire.
You know, at the end of the day, hustle's hustle. Whether you're doing what we did growing
Absolutely.
up, or whether you guys are doing it the way you're doing it, it's still hustle. Because nobody's going to walk up to you and say, here you go, take it.
Never.
Never.
What John Joe say? Right. If you think you got something coming.
You think you got something coming, you don't. For sure.
You got a guy we interviewed. His name is John Jokes, pretty prominent figure in the city here, doing multiple things. He's got his vodkas, he's got businesses and everything he's doing. So yeah, great African American man.
Right.
Yeah, great quote. If you think you got something coming, you don't.
You got anything else you want to say?
I don't, man.
Okay, I just got one more thing. How important is the father in a child's life? In your own words, what is the impact of having a father? And we're speaking from you guys being children and having a father to having children of your own and being a father.
It's important to have a father in the household. I was raised by my stepfather. My father, he did his thing, got in some trouble, and my mom got a divorce, and we moved here. But just having somebody that there's two sides. There's a soft side, and there's a hard side. There's a nurturing side from your mom, and then there's a side that your father is supposed to give you that grind to get out there and do it and maintain and, try to survive. And either you're going to have kids or not, but you just got to know, like you said, ain't nobody going to give you nothing. You got to go out there and get it, work for it. And that's just how my stepfather, he worked every single day. Boom, 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 boom. He came to some games and some games he didn't. But, it was that job first. But, I mean, it's important. I don't know how to put it in to make it sound, podcast sweet. But
Nah, you saying it right.
Yeah.
Your words, that's all that matters.
It ain't no wallow here, but it's, but it's just it's very important. I mean, there's two sides of everything. You're gonna have to know how to be nurturing. You gotta raise your daughter, and you gotta raise your future daughter. You know how your mom, treated Brittany and treated your brother and you, and you know how I treated you guys. I was always stern and this and this and this and that. Grind. And,
so where it come from? Where you ask where it come from right here. And
also I was too much, and then y'all push back. So I mean, it's important because you can't go in this world and be like la 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 la.
Not at all.
And then they didn't treat me right. You gotta. If your mom ain't gonna show you, your father will show you. If your mom was there without a father, then your mom would show you both sides. But I think it's very important for a father to be there in this child's life, to really kind of show them direction.
Brennan and I have, out of the three kids, probably have bumped heads the most. When he got older and started looking at things a little bit differently, he had a lot of questions. Him and I have had some pretty deep conversations. And it's kind of funny because I had the same thing with my pops. There's a lot of things that he would have said to me or would have done that I didn't agree with. And I had questions. I'm just like, well, why would you do that? It doesn't make sense to me. The math ain't math. But I will say this. I wouldn't have it any other way. Because I learned from the conversations that Brennan and I had, and I hope he reciprocated from the things I had to say. And the same thing from me to my dad. There's a lot of single parent families out there where the mom is doing all the raising. And as men, we got our own issues. There's no doubt about it. Can be hard-headed, stubborn, do it our way or no way. But we give you that strength to be your own man. And not that a single mother couldn't, but it's just much more difficult because now she's having to be the mom and the dad.
Right.
And something is always going to get missed. Having a two-parent family is by far the best way to raise a family. Brennan is doing a hell of a job, but if he had a partner, so he's having to be the mom and the dad, and her mom.
I'm just a dad. I'm just a dad.
He's being the dad, so her mom.
He the mama too, man. Pop said it. Hey, well, Pop say go, man.
Hey,
we got Mr. and Mrs. at the end of the table, man.
Crazy work.
But the difference with the situation is that they do have a pretty good tandem going as far as raising my granddaughter. Now there's a lot of situations that aren't like that. The dad is just, okay, I got it for this weekend. I'm just going to do my thing and give him back. Brennan puts his heart into it.
100%.
100%.
I commend him for it very often.
Every time I talk to him, it's just like, he's doing something with Coda. I mean, she looks up to him like no tomorrow, which is, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, especially with a girl. So, yeah, I think having both parents is important. Not necessarily the end-all, because there's proof right here that you can pull it off, but it does make raising them easier.
Anything you want to say in closing?
I am not the mama.
Good thing I'm the editor.
Yeah, lead up.
I'm leaving it in there. Good thing I'm the editor.
Just appreciate y'all, salute y'all as fathers, as men. For anybody watching this, if you are a father and you got them kids out there and you're not in their lives, like, go get them kids and be in their lives. Like, regardless of what the situation is with the mama, I try to tell men all the time, the best reason why me and her mama get on? Because I don't worry about what she's doing. Like, too many people still be emotionally caught up with the parent of their child. Y'all are done. It's over. Move on and do what's best for that kid. That's what matters.
That's the
and
most
a lot
important.
of y'all be letting these emotions stop y'all from being in y'all kids' lives. And it's time to let that go. And it's time to be a man, poke your chest out, and go be with your babies because they need y'all. A lot of what's going on in the world today with, as we call them, YNs, is because they don't got no fathers. And then we wonder why they're so emotional, but they're being raised by their mothers. Like, no disrespect to women, but emotional creatures. And so that's going to rub off on these younger men. So we need some men that know how to be stern and teach these babies how to live in this world. Like he just said, like, we saw that grind, we saw that we had to go to work. A lot of these kids not seeing that. That's why they go to a job and then they just quit the next day because somebody says something they didn't like. They don't know how to take orders. They're not coachable. It's because their father's not around, or their father's out here still trying to be kids themselves. So we need y'all to step it up out here on the manhood side of things. Appreciate our fathers for making this happen. On a Sunday when the game is on. But we love y'all.
The Chiefs is out.
Yeah. But yeah, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We salute y'all. Thank y'all for being here.
Anything y'all want to say in closing?
No.
I mean, personally, I'm happy to be here because this is y'all's hustle.
Appreciate it.
And I'm happy to be part of it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree.
Appreciate it, Pops. Thank y'all. Before we close it out, y'all see we got the bottle on the edge of the corner right there. Stock the Bar Vodka is the official sponsor of the podcast for the Risk Takers. I do want to give a special announcement to Deborah as well as Daryl Reese. If y'all can, prayer warriors at home, 100%. please send some prayers up to the Reese family. He just gave me an update today. His mother is recovering well. Sending her to rehab to get better at doing some basic tasks. But she is doing well. So I just want to say, please, those at home, that watch the pod, please send a prayer to the Reese family.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep. Prayers with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big prayers, man.
So we're closing this out. I just want to say, those at home, please listen and pay attention. This is what two hardworking men look like, who are, raised a family and got a lot of experience in life. Me and Brendan is well on our way. So, it's been another episode of the Risk Takers, man.
Like, comment, subscribe, please. We got to get that up.
Yes, sir. We out.
We out.
Yeah, I didn't know.